One of the city's most prominent arts funding bodies has tapped a new leader. The Winnipeg Arts Council has announced that Dominic Lloyd has been named its new executive director. Lloyd takes over from Carol Phillips, who retired last year, and has served with the Winnipeg Arts Council for nearly 15 years. And in that time, he has been instrumental in bringing about exciting artistic programs to the city of Winnipeg, such as the establishment of the Poet Laureate program and the City of Song celebrations for Winnipeg's 150th birthday. Dominic Lloyd joins me live in the Classic 107 studios this morning. Good morning and congratulations.
Thanks, Nolan, and thanks for having me in.
Oh, thanks so much for being here. So, what's going through your mind as you find out that it's you? You're the new top dog at the Winnipeg Arts Council.
Well, it's first and foremost, it's a huge honor. It really is a privilege to work with the Winnipeg Arts Council, and I know that because I have done it for a considerable amount of time already. Right. But to step into this chair, certainly to follow in the very large footsteps of Carol Phillips, is one thing, but also to be able to be entrusted to bring my own vision and leadership to the organization and to be part of the community. It's daunting and thrilling at the same time.
What a balance. Maybe perhaps made less daunting by your experience with the Arts Council over the years. I'm wondering, as you assume this role, how have you seen the Arts Council change over the years? How have you seen it evolve, and then where do you fall into that evolution as you now take on the executive directorship?
Well, it's as you say, it's been 15 years that I've been there, and it certainly has changed over the years. I think the whole community has changed over the years and evolved, and certainly with different concepts and different attentions being paid. When I first joined back in late 2009, it was to manage the Cultural Capital of Canada project. And the underlying thesis of that project was arts for all, and that's certainly something that has not changed. And we really believe that the arts are for all. Not all art is for all people, but there is art for all people, and that certainly exists in Winnipeg. And so at the council, we have tried to be adaptive and responsive. I think that's really sort of what we do and what we do well. Is we don't tell people what kind of art they should be making. Our job is to be there and support it and to evolve and to to listen and to find out what people want to create and what people want to consume in the way of art, and then support that and facilitate that and help make that happen.
So you talk about the adaptive nature of the Winnipeg Arts Council, and in the announcement that came that shared your appointment as executive director, I was struck by a quote from you that said, "Now more than ever, it's important to ensure the sustainability and accessibility of the arts in our city," end quote. Speaking to that arts for all ethos that you were just talking about as well. What does that look like in the next year, 2 years, 5 years as you take on this new role?
Well, if only I had a crystal ball.
Indeed, consider the crystal ball yours.
Let's figure out what we can cobble together here.
Sure.
I think we're at a very interesting time for a variety of reasons, and even though the worst days of the pandemic seem to be quite in the rearview mirror for us, it certainly is still having an effect in terms of audiences and in terms of people's willingness to go out and how they want to appreciate and consume the arts. I hate to use that word consume. I'll stop doing that.
Sure.
but how people experience the arts is still suffering from that. So audiences are returning, but certainly not necessarily in all disciplines and in all organizations at the rates that people might have hoped. So figuring out how to re-engage with people is a big thing. There is, technology has always been instrumental in how art is created and shared, and certainly that continues to evolve rapidly. But with the looming specter of new AI type things that are supplanting human creation in a lot of ways. We AI was supposed to do the dishes and the ironing so we could write poetry, not write poetry while we iron and do the dishes.
While we toil away.
So it's it's here, and it's not going to go away. So figuring out how organizations and how artists and how audiences are going to deal with that and use or not use that. There's even the sort of geopolitical realities of the world are going to have an effect of on how people engage with the arts because of international borders. Touring becomes harder. It becomes harder to bring artists in from different countries, and whether that is to create an experience for audiences or to create shared experience among artists. One of the most valuable things that an artist can do, as is to sit down with another artist and just see where things take them, and that's how creation happens. So all of these things are definitely issues that the arts community writ large is facing, and Winnipeg as a sort of microcosm of the world is going to experience that as well.
Absolutely. So those are all of the myriad challenges that you are now facing as the executive director of the Winnipeg Arts Council, and they can build into that sort of daunting nature of the job that you were speaking about before. What sort of things are you excited about trying? Not that taking those challenges on isn't necessarily exciting and invigorating, but as you begin this new role, maybe I'm wondering what sorts of big ideas are you considering to continue to address the needs of artists in the city?
I hope I didn't sound too dour there.
Not at all. Not at all. It's a lot. It's certainly a lot to think about.
It is, and I think, in spite of all of that, artists persevere, and that's something that is integral to what we do, but it's integral to how the arts work as well. In spite of any challenges put forward, people will find a way. Artists will find a way. People like to talk about innovation in the arts, and I believe artists are innovators by definition. So that's what they're here to do. And as the council, our job is to listen and follow and support. So finding ways to assist artists and to be able to hear what's going on and to listen to people and find out what the community wants, what the community needs, that's definitely a priority for us, and it always has been, but it'll continue to be, and it'll continue, as I say, to evolve and respond to the current circumstances.
You're somebody who's been in that community now for several years, even before you were at the Winnipeg Arts Council. Of course, you came to Winnipeg back in 2004 to run the West End Cultural Centre. What's been keeping you engaged and excited about the art scene in Winnipeg over these years, and what about that are you bringing into your executive directorship?
It's an interesting question. When I decided to move here back in the early 2000s, I called the two people that I knew that lived in Winnipeg, and told them that I'd had this offer and I was considering coming, and they both of them sort of immediately launched into this list of why Winnipeg is great in spite of what you've heard.
Yeah, right.
And I remember telling my friend, I was like, whoa, slow down. You don't need to sell me on Winnipeg. I know its reputation. I know what it's got here. So it really was the quality of the artistic life, the reputation, that's what brought me here. And then I landed here and I'm like, I don't that reputation doesn't even scratch the surface. So over the years, I've seen amazing things happen in this community, whether it's in music, which is the discipline that I primarily worked in before coming to the Winnipeg Arts Council, but having seen just wonderful things in dance and in visual arts and in film and media arts, and just across the board, there's always something going on, and there's always somebody that's willing to take a chance and roll the dice and create something amazing, and that never stops.
Right. And can't be done without the support of the Winnipeg Arts Council in so many regards. Dominic, thank you so much for joining us in the Classic 107 studios to tell us more, and congratulations again on your new position.
Thanks very much for having me, Nolan.